How easy is it to make money in India? Just grab any random rock, slap some red paint on it, scatter a few coins around, and boom, you've created a deity. Before you know it, people line up to donate and pray, some even kneeling in worship. Within 10 minutes, those coins multiply tenfold. Seems like a business opportunity too good to pass up, right? The truth is, using religion to scam people out of their money is nothing new in India. Even an alien fell victim to this very scheme. His name was PK, and he came to Earth last year on a research mission. The moment he landed, he got robbed. An old man spotted the pendant around PK's neck, figured it was valuable, snatched it without hesitation, and hopped on a train to make his getaway. This was a huge problem because that pendant was actually the remote control for his spaceship. Without it, PK was stranded on Earth. Since it was his first time on this planet and he knew absolutely nothing, PK started observing his surroundings. He noticed everyone wore clothes, so he grabbed a couple of outfits from a car, thinking that would help him blend in. But he couldn't figure out why everyone kept laughing at him. After cycling through several outfits, it finally clicked. Clothes are gender-specific. Next, PK discovered this strange paper with an old man's picture on it that could somehow be exchanged for stuff. Amazing! And getting this paper wasn't hard at all. You could find it in clothes left in cars or pick it up from blind people on pedestrian bridges. Now that food and clothing were sorted, there was still one major problem: the language barrier. For instance, he noticed a hairdresser whose clothes looked a bit off, but he couldn't just tell him, so he tried to fix it for him instead. The hairdresser looked pretty annoyed. Did I ruin his fashion statement? So PK tried to put the clothes back the way they were. But the hairdresser was still upset, so PK bolted. At an intersection, he got hit by a car. Luckily, the driver was a decent guy who not only took him to a clinic, but also let him crash at his place. On the way back, PK kept staring at the driver, then suddenly grabbed his hand. The driver nearly jumped out of his skin, quickly whipped out his license and blurted, "Gender, male. Preference, female." What he didn't realize was that PK grabbed his hand to acquire language skills. On PK's planet, they have this special ability. Just by holding someone's hand, they can copy all of that person's skills. Later, PK spotted a newlywed couple holding hands and immediately tried to join in. The groom pulled out a knife and chased him for 2 miles before the driver finally showed up to rescue him. Seeing how desperately PK wanted human contact, the driver decided to help him out. He pulled out his wallet and took PK to a place where holding hands was totally acceptable. There, all the women were forward and eager, and PK finally got what he was looking for. He held a woman's hand and downloaded the language pack all night long. When the download was complete, he opened his mouth and could actually speak fluently. PK quickly woke up the driver and told him his true identity, then took him to the spot where the remote had been stolen. Based on the train's direction, the driver figured the thief probably took the remote to Delhi to sell it. So PK said goodbye to the driver and hopped on a train to Delhi. As soon as he arrived, PK started asking around if anyone had seen his remote. Everyone told him the same thing: ask God. God knows everything. PK was totally confused. Who is this God person and why is he such a big deal? A street vendor pointed to a stall and said, "Buka, that's God right there. Small ones are 50, big ones are 100. Half skeptical, PK bought one and sat by the road to test it out. "God, please give me food." Right then, a kind stranger happened to give some food to a nearby beggar. PK stared at the food in his hands, completely stunned. This God thing actually works. So he quickly made another wish for his remote, but nothing happened this time. Maybe the statue's battery died? He took the statue to the vendor asking for new batteries. The vendor saw how clueless he looked and conned him. "Your wish is too big. Go to a temple and pray to the bigger gods. Here, I'll give you a good deal on these offerings. Hurry up and go." And so began PK's God-worshipping journey. But India has so many gods that he had to try them one by one. 6 months passed, and he'd made offerings to countless deities, but still came up empty. One day, PK walked into a temple and headed straight for the donation box. He expertly poked it with a stick, and the money was his. He'd clearly mastered the art of making money. When someone caught him, he didn't panic at all. He quickly slapped a little god sticker on his face and said, "Go ahead, hit me." The monks didn't dare touch him because in India, nobody disrespects the gods. Just then, a reporter named Mary happened to pass by. She saw everything and got excited, thinking she could dig up a big story from PK. She quickly stepped in to help him out of the jam. After rescuing him, Mary asked why he did it. PK calmly replied, "I prayed to God, paid my money, but he didn't deliver, so I'm taking my money back." "What's wrong with that?" Mary was speechless. Finally, she asked, "Can I interview you?" PK answered, "Not today. I need to find a place to sleep or I'll be out on the streets." Mary asked, puzzled, "Where do you live?" PK replied, "Well, it varies. Depends on luck and which district's turn it is." Then PK gave her a demonstration. He walked right up to a police car and yelled, "Hey, look over here!" Once he had the cops' attention, he started peeing on a wall. The police obviously couldn't tolerate that and arrested him on the spot. Just like that, PK got himself a place to stay, in a holding cell. Mary was completely dumbfounded. PK's antics only made her more curious about him. She followed him to the detention center, wanting to hear his story. PK held nothing back and told her everything. But when she heard words like alien and remote control, Mary started suspecting PK might be mentally ill. So she gave him her business card, shook his hand, and was about to leave. But then PK spoke up and accurately described exactly what was on Mary's mind. She was shocked because he'd read her thoughts perfectly. How did he know? To get to the bottom of this, she decided to bail him out. PK explained that this was a special ability from his planet, mind reading. By holding someone's hand, they can know exactly what that person is thinking. After several tests, Mary finally believed him. The next day, PK was on the street handing out flyers, hoping someone would have information about his remote. Suddenly, something caught his eye. A church packed with people listening to a guru speak. A gemstone rose up on stage, and PK took a closer look. That was his missing remote. Finally, God had done something useful. PK was so excited he nearly jumped out of his skin and rushed onto the stage to grab his remote. But Mike claimed the gemstone had been obtained from a sacred mountain and was definitely not a remote control. In the end, PK was dragged away by several big guys and dumped on the street. At that moment, PK completely lost hope. When Mary found out, she decided to help PK get his remote back. She brought him to the guru's temple, where they arrived just as Mike was brainwashing his followers. A devotee said his wife had a terminal illness and wanted to ask God for help. Mike made a grand gesture and began his performance. He pretended to communicate with the gods, then told the man to go to a temple in the Himalayas, and his problem would be solved. After hearing Mike's prophecy, PK immediately jumped up to challenge him. If there's really a God on the other end of that line, and he has time to connect with you, why doesn't he just cure the illness directly? And if that old man actually goes to the Himalayas looking for medicine, can you guarantee his wife will recover? Would you put that in writing? This barrage of sharp questions left Mike completely speechless. He quickly signaled to end the prayer session, and the topic was dropped. Mary had secretly recorded the whole thing and turned it into a news story. As soon as it aired, Mary's father was the first to storm into the TV station, furiously yelling at her. Turns out, he was one of Mike's devoted followers. Then he pointed at PK and demanded, "Don't you have any respect for the gods?" Respect? PK's eyes lit up. That's exactly the word. He realized that Mike was exploiting people's reverence for the divine to keep milking them for money. As the program aired, more and more people woke up and started exposing religious fraudsters. This freaked Mike out. He was terrified of going bankrupt. So he challenged PK to a televised showdown. Mike planned to use the show to prove he wasn't a fraud so he could continue his scam. If PK could debunk him, he'd return the remote. When the show started, Mike seized the initiative. PK is always against God, but without God, who would people pray to? Where would they find hope? This resonated widely with the audience. Even PK admitted, "It's true, I've prayed to God myself, sincerely and earnestly. When I was trying to find my remote, I prayed to every god in this country. But I believe there are two kinds of gods. One is the true creator, and the other is a fake god manufactured by people like Mike. Fake gods like Mike make empty promises and swindle people out of their money." He also mentioned that Mike had lied to Mary's parents, causing her to break up with her boyfriend. Mary was shocked when she heard this. A year ago, she'd met a boyfriend while abroad. When her father found out, he immediately went to Mike, hoping he could tell whether the man was trustworthy. Without hesitation, Mike prophesied, "He's a heartbreaker. He will definitely abandon you." Her father heard this and ordered her to come home immediately, or he'd disown her. But Mary didn't give up. Instead, she and her boyfriend agreed to register their marriage the next day. However, on the day they were supposed to meet, her boyfriend never showed up. Mary only received a breakup letter. Remembering Mike's prophecy, she eventually decided to cut ties with her boyfriend completely. Mike seized the moment and said, "See, I was right. Your boyfriend did betray you. But was that really what happened?" PK asked Mary, "Did your boyfriend hand you the breakup letter himself?" Mary shook her head. "No, a little boy gave it to me." PK